Yo, internet dwellers, welcome back to the third dimension. And when you think of the worst podcasts on the internet, I'm sure you will usually associate that with these alpha male influencers that typically degrade women and mold insecure young men with like no foundation or personality of their own in their attempts to reshape the current social climate that revolves itself around a more patriarchal and conservative ideology, which, if you don't know what that means, they basically want women to get back in the kitchen like it's the 1950s. And the alpha of these alpha male podcasts, which kind of just means that they're the most beta and arguably the most controversial, is the Fresh and Fit podcast. And if you guys aren't unaware of who these macho men are, they are basically these two guys named Myron and Fresh who run a podcast that is centered around them inviting OnlyFans and Instagram models onto their show to talk about their ideology, morals, and ethics, and why do they do the things that they do in efforts to primarily destroy these women and further amplify the red pill agenda.
Let's say you're with the man of your dreams, all right? He's attractive, he's tall, good looking.
Sounds good.
Everything. You go to a fortune teller because you're into spirituality.
I am, yeah.
Fantastic, even better.
I'm over here.
You go to this fortune teller and she tells you, I know he's the man of your dreams, but in 5 years, he's going to be broke, a drug addict, and a bum. Would you go marry that man knowing what you know now?
In this clip, internet dwellers, we have Myron argue with this girl where he is making a comparison to a woman's body count to a completely hypothetical situation where a psychic sees a man's future somehow and confirms that he will become a bum in 5 years, and asks this girl if she will continue to stay in the relationship if that was the case.
I don't know, but what did that have to do with
Please answer the question.
What did that have to do
Would
with what
you
I
marry-
asked?
And just like she said, how are you going to pull a hypothetical out of your ass cheeks, and talk about this pseudoscience that doesn't even exist to validate your argument? And what's even more crazy about that is everybody in the room is literally agreeing with them. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Gaslighting the fuck out of this poor girl into oblivion.
Just like you will not marry that man because his future is fucked up, a man will not marry you because your past is fucked up. Bam.
So basically the conclusion to his argument, if you were just as confused as me, don't worry, with all this nonsensical and hypothetical bullshit, was that since a woman can't be with a man if they knew that they were going to be unsuccessful in their future, then why does a man have to be with a woman if they have a high body count in their past? What the fuck? This is like comparing MF Doom to Taylor Swift. You can't even quantify somebody's future, and you can't change somebody's past, but you could change somebody's future if you make the conscientious decision to do so. So you don't pull out this random make-believe card out of your hat and start talking about wizards and dragons to solidify an argument. Like, what the fuck? That shit is mad corny. And this is kind of what they're like, right? You got these two guys. One of them is obviously the alpha out of the two. Let's be real here. Where the other one, I could literally make a montage of him just sitting there, not adding any depth to the conversation whatsoever. Let's be honest here. I didn't even know he existed until fucking recently, because 95% of the podcast, he just sits there and does nothing. And the way the podcast is set up is they usually invite a certain demographic of women on their podcast who are typically materialistic, shallow, money-oriented, independent influencers, if you will, who are fortunate enough to take advantage of this internet climate with OnlyFans, Instagrams, or any way they could sell their beauty, basically. Because these people are easier targets for the influx of questions that usually pertain to this vain conviction, in which debaters like Myron can pick apart very easily, because topics like this is where he excels in. Now, this is obviously the narrative that they want to push onto their audience, even though, as we all know, not every single woman is living this lavish and rich lifestyle. You know, a lot of women are living typical regular 9-to-5 jobs like the majority of us, at least here in America. And if a woman has any single pushback or a competent argument, they specialize in gaslighting to make, you know, their opinions and thoughts seem invalid.
Please exercise some critical thinking.
On many occasions, women have walked out on the podcast where people associated with the show always make it seem like they're the problem. But don't feel too bad for these women, because an interesting note about these women who go on podcasts like this is that they actually receive an influx in sales and growth in their business like OnlyFans, which is the only reason that they go on these podcasts in the first place, as indicated by this clip.
I'm trying to make more money. I mean, I made like, last time I went on there, that gave me like 15 grand, like over, like I can't say exactly, but like so many people saw those clips. And red pill audiences, why do you think we go on there? We're not just going on there, it's because they buy our OnlyFans.
Which can only make me conclude that all these dudes who follow these red pillars like Fresh and Fit are still just horny men at the end of the day, because if their audience is causing an increase in sales for these women, immediately contradicting the whole reason for the show in the first place, then what the fuck is the hate for? Cognitive dissonance at its finest. And if we just look at the thumbnail titles, it's obvious what they are trying to do here. Strong queen got cooked by married 19-year-old. Unwanted woman learned why rich men wouldn't date them. Laura proved to city girls why they aren't the prize. And the list goes on. They are either molding these conservative beliefs because they too agree with these ideas, or they are marketing themselves off of these ideas to build an audience that already has these preconceived notions. But I truly believe the latter. I think they genuinely hate women. They must have had absolutely no play when they were younger and then developed this disdain for women over time because of this, where, you know, once they were able to stack up their bread, you know, they attracted the more materialistic type of woman, which just further emphasized their hatred even more. I mean, one of them literally has a book called Why Women Deserve Less. How much anger do you have to have for an entire sex to make an entire 86-page book, publish it, just to get your point across? That is crazy. And if we just look at his beta counterpart Fresh overcompensating himself in these photos with these wealthy attractions, only highlights how insecure he truly is. I mean, just look at what all these women rate him.
I say 4.
Yeah, like a 3.
Fresh looks. You're like a 2, bro.
To be fair, I see cuts on her hand, so that's probably what's happening there too.
So I guess it doesn't matter how much money you have. Once a beta, you will always exude beta energy. It seems like Myron and Fresh are merely betas, LARPing themselves as these alpha high value men. Which brings us to the most recent controversy that these alpha males have gotten themselves into, which is this guy, Fresh, got this girl, who was an escort, pregnant. Kind of ironic, isn't it? These guys, who have a $700 course on being a high-value man, are getting the exact woman that they shit on pregnant.
Again, this is what I mean. This is a perfect example. Men are more logically sound than women. Look at y'all right now, all in your feelings. I genuinely believe
it's not real.
all women
This
are gold
isn't
diggers.
real.
Some are just better at hiding the shovel. Some are just better at hiding the shovel.
This is hypocrisy at its finest, and clearly their fans think so as well, because during one of their live streams, they had a caller call in exposing them for their contradictive behavior.
We can move on. That's fine. Let's go to the Chinese escort because I'm about to get pressure on this one too. So Fresh, you gave an extremely expensive Von Cleef bracelet, which are worth up to $30K, to a Chinese escort you just met. You claim that the escort's page was fake, but the pictures on her page were not fake, and those pictures were extremely promiscuous and exactly pictures an escort would take. But even if you're right, and she was not technically an escort, okay, she's still undeniably a hoe because of her pictures, and giving hoes $30,000 gifts you just met goes against everything Fresh and Fit stands for.
Now, this video aged nicely. This was from a live stream that happened over 2 months ago, speaking on the current controversy that the Fresh and Fit podcast have found themselves in, where this caller is basically calling Fresh out for his hypocritical behavior, in which Fresh not only bought and paid for this, woman escort from China, but also purchased $30K worth of jewelry for this woman. Wow, what a great representation of a high value man right there, am I right? For the next 30 minutes or so, Fresh and Fit would attempt, or in this case, Myron putting his little friend in his kangaroo pouch, would defend Fresh's honor, barely even letting him speak for himself, because I guess betas only speak when daddy allows them to. Where he tries to debunk these rumors and says that all of these supposed allegations are false. And as I've said before, Fresh and Fit, mainly Myron, specialize in gaslighting, so they were able to kind of alleviate and maneuver themselves away from this guy's talking points and arguments to manipulate the situation and making him seem like a hater at the end of the day. Now, as we all know, that was a load of baloney, because it turns out not only was she an escort, as many people suspected, but that he planted his seed in her just like Drake did with his baby mama.
I want the baby because I don't want to kill the baby. I don't want to kill nobody. I don't want to.
You're not. They just give you a pill and then it's over.
No. I'm pregnant.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The pill, they just give it to you from the doctor and then you're good.
I am pregnant. I can't pretending like nothing happened. I can't. In my religion, we don't kill.
In this phone call, we have Fresh trying to convince this woman to take a plan B, but as we all can see, he busted in the wrong one, because she doesn't want to do it, and rightfully so. She is completely valid in that decision. What I guess happened is that, she saw all the money that he was flaunting, and immediately dollar signs spawned in front of her eyeballs, where a big neon sign spawned on top of Fresh's head that said the American dream is right here. This is why you wear protection. Because now they are in a real pickle. Not only did one half of the podcasters find themselves in a real predicament, which honestly you could do without him, he never really contributed anything to the podcast anyways. On top of that, the Fresh and Fit podcast have been demonetized for months now, which means that they are unable to make any legitimate profit from their videos unless it's through a third-party source like Patreon. So, that kind of blows for them, FaceTime call. Who's calling me right now? Myron? How the fuck did this from the Fresh and Fit podcast? How did this dude get my number? Hold up.
A lot of you motherfuckers are jellyfish. No fucking spine. And that's the reason why a lot of you motherfuckers are fat, triple chin, neck bearded, pieces of shit, fucking dorks with no money, and no one fucking respects you. Because you motherfuckers don't stand for nothing. If I stand with Fresh, I die with Fresh. It is what it is. Okay? It is what it is, you motherfuckers. Oh shit, it's getting shaky. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna leave. I got 20 fucking real estate properties, so I can tell motherfuckers, fuck you. My net worth is over $6 fucking million. I get money residually. I don't fucking need to do this shit, and I don't need to fucking sell my soul. I stand with my fucking friends. Period.
Fuck that. Anyways, it seems like the Fresh and Fit podcast is falling apart. I just don't know why you would say that about me. I don't know why. I don't even know. Yeah, I feel like it's falling apart, and for good reason too. I feel like humanity will make a great restoration without these alpha male and high value male podcasts. I just feel like it'd be better without them. Just don't know why. I don't know why you said that about me. Anyways, that's all for me. I'm off to another dimension. See ya.
You can have money, you could have status, but you're still the dork.